truth about wealth, everyone wants to be rich. Almost every person dreams about a life filled with comfort, freedom, and respect. A life where money is no longer a daily worry, where choices are not limited by price, and where the future feels secure instead of uncertain. From the outside, wealth looks simple. Beautiful houses, private jets, luxury hotels, perfect vacations. Social media shows only the shine, never the struggle behind it. But the truth is very different. Because extreme wealth is not just a lifestyle. It is a psychological transformation that most people are never willing to go through. And this is the part nobody talks about. Money is attractive from a distance, and it looks like freedom. It feels like power. It promises happiness. But when you study the lives of the world's richest individuals, a different picture begins to appear. You start to notice patterns, habits, sacrifices, disciplines, things that are invisible to the public, but essential to real wealth. Because wealth is not created in one lucky moment. It is not a lottery ticket. It is not one viral idea. It is not quick success. Real wealth is slow. It is built through thousands of small decisions, made correctly again and again for many years. And this is where most people fail, not because they are stupid, not because they lack talent, not because opportunity never came. They fail because they want the result without becoming the person capable of holding that result. Think about this carefully. If sudden money alone created permanent wealth, then every lottery winner would stay rich forever. But the opposite happens. Many lottery winners lose everything within a few years. Why? Because money without mindset is temporary, but mindset without money eventually creates money. This single truth explains the difference between people who only touch wealth briefly and those who build wealth that lasts for generations. The silent nature of real success. In movies and social media, success looks loud. Celebrations, attention, recognition, applause. But in reality, the road to extreme success is usually very quiet. Long hours of thinking, working when nobody is watching, studying when nobody is clapping, failing without anyone noticing. This silence is uncomfortable for most people. Because the human mind loves quick rewards, quick praise, quick results, quick progress. But wealth does not follow speed. Wealth follows consistency. And consistency is boring, repetitive, slow, invisible. Which is exactly why so few people achieve real financial freedom. They stop too early. They change direction too often. They chase excitement instead of endurance, while billionaires quietly continue, day after day, year after year, decade after decade, until the results finally become impossible to ignore. Why most people stay financially stuck? This is a difficult truth, but it must be understood. Most people are not poor because the world is unfair. Most people remain poor because their daily thinking patterns keep them trapped in the same place. They focus only on survival, not growth, only on today, not the future, only on comfort, not discipline. And over time, these small mental habits create a predictable life, a life of limits, a life of stress, a life where money always feels slightly out of reach. But when you study billionaires, you see the opposite pattern. They think differently, long before they earn differently. They focus on building skills, not showing status. They invest in learning while others invest in appearance. They delay pleasure so they can multiply freedom later. This ability to delay gratification is one of the strongest predictors of future wealth ever discovered. Because money grows best in the hands of someone who does not urgently need to spend it. The emotional reality of wealth. Another illusion about wealth is that money removes stress completely. In truth, money removes certain problems, but introduces new responsibilities. When your decisions affect only your own life, pressure is small. But when your decisions affect employees, companies, investors, and entire markets, pressure becomes something very different. This is why emotional control is one of the most valuable skills at the highest levels of success. Because one emotional decision, made in anger, fear, or ego, can destroy billions of dollars. So billionaires train themselves to remain calm when situations become intense. They slow down when others panic. They think when others react. And this emotional discipline protects their wealth more than any security system ever could. The beginning of real transformation. Everything changes the moment a person stops asking, how can I make quick money? And starts asking, who do I need to become to build lasting wealth? This question shifts the focus from shortcuts to self-development, from luck to discipline, from wishing to working. And this shift is the true beginning of the billionaire mindset, because in the end, wealth is not only a financial journey. It is a mental evolution, a slow transformation from distraction to focus, from emotion to clarity, from short-term thinking to generational vision. And only those who complete this inner transformation ever experience the outer rewards of true wealth. The foundation of billionaire thinking, the difference between ordinary financial success and extraordinary generational wealth does not begin with money. It begins with thinking. Because every external result in life is first created internally, as a belief, a decision, or a habit. Long before someone becomes wealthy in the real world, they become wealthy in the way they see the world. And this invisible shift is what separates billionaires from everyone else. Deep focus in a distracted world. We are living in the most distracted era in human history. Endless notifications, constant entertainment, unlimited scrolling, noise that never truly stops. Attention has become the most valuable resource on earth, and yet it is also the most wasted. Most people cannot focus on a single meaningful task for even one uninterrupted hour. But wealth requires the exact opposite. Because money grows where attention stays. Billionaires understand this deeply. They design their environments to protect concentration. They reduce interruptions, limit unnecessary meetings, avoid pointless conversations, not because they dislike people, but because they respect focus. To them, focus is not a productivity trick. It is a financial weapon. 1 hour of true, uninterrupted thinking can create decisions worth millions of dollars, while a day lost in distraction creates nothing at all. This is why extreme success is so rare. Because extreme focus is also rare. The ruthless protection of time. If you ask most people what their most valuable asset is, they will say money. But billionaires answer differently. To them, the most valuable asset is time, because money can be lost and earned again. But time, once gone, never returns. This understanding changes how they live completely. They do not try to do everything themselves. They delegate. They automate. They build systems. They are willing to spend large amounts of money to save small amounts of time. From the outside, this can look excessive, even wasteful. But from the inside, it is perfectly logical. Because saved time can be reinvested into decisions that create far greater value. This is the hidden mathematics of wealth. Spend money to protect time. Use time to create more money. A simple loop, but incredibly powerful when repeated for decades. Silent learning and private growth. Another quiet habit shared by many of the world's richest individuals is continuous learning. Not loud learning, not public learning, not learning for appearance, but silent, consistent, private learning. While the world argues online, they read, while others chase trends. They study fundamentals while many seek entertainment. They seek understanding because knowledge is one of the few assets that compounds forever. Money can disappear, markets can crash, businesses can fail, but a trained mind remains powerful in any environment. This is why learning is not a phase for billionaires. It is a lifetime habit, and over many years, this quiet accumulation of insight creates an almost unfair advantage. They begin to see patterns others cannot see, risks others cannot recognize, opportunities others completely ignore. From the outside, their success looks sudden, but in reality, it was prepared silently for a very long time. Thinking in decades, not days. Perhaps the most important foundation of billionaire thinking is their relationship with time horizons. Average thinking is short-term. What feels good today? What pays quickly? What shows results immediately? But short-term thinking creates fragile outcomes because anything built quickly can also disappear quickly. Billionaires reverse this completely. They think in years, in decades, sometimes even in generations. They are comfortable working today for results that may arrive far in the future. This patience is extremely difficult for the human mind, but it is essential for extraordinary wealth because compounding, the most powerful force in finance, only reveals its magic with time. Small, smart decisions, repeated consistently, grow slowly at first, almost invisibly, but after many years, they accelerate beyond imagination. This is how fortunes are truly built, not in moments of excitement, but in long periods of disciplined patience. Environment shapes destiny. There is another truth rarely discussed openly. Your environment quietly shapes your future. The people you listen to, the conversations you hear daily, the expectations considered normal around you, all of these influence what you believe is possible. Billionaires are extremely careful about their environments. They choose circles that encourage growth, not limitation. They seek proximity to builders, thinkers, and disciplined minds. Because mindset is contagious. Spend enough time around small thinking and your vision shrinks. Spend enough time around expansive thinking and your possibilities grow. This is not motivation. It is psychology, and those who understand it quietly use it to design better futures. The invisible beginning of wealth. When people see extreme success, they usually notice the ending, the visible reward, the public recognition, the financial numbers, but they almost never see the invisible beginning, the years of preparation, the habits built in private, the discipline maintained without applause. This hidden phase is where the real transformation happens. Because before the world calls someone successful, they must first become someone capable of carrying success without collapsing under it. And that transformation always begins inside. With thinking, with focus, with patience, with discipline repeated quietly day after day. Transition to the next stage. Once this foundation is built, something powerful happens. Decisions become clearer, risks become smarter, opportunities become visible. And this leads to the next critical phase of the billionaire journey, emotional control, and the ability to make powerful decisions under pressure. Because at the highest levels of success, it is not intelligence alone that creates wealth. It is the ability to remain calm when everything feels uncertain. And that is where our story continues. Have you ever wondered what really separates billionaires from everyone else? Is it luck, a secret inheritance? While those things can play a part, the real difference often lies in something much deeper. Their mindset. It's not just about wanting to be rich. It's about how they think, how they react, and how they build their world. Today, we're going to dive into the 3 core pillars of the billionaire mindset: emotional mastery, long-term vision, and system building. And I promise you, these aren't just abstract ideas. They are practical, learnable skills that you can start applying in your own life right now. Let's start with the first pillar, emotional control. We all experience emotions: fear, frustration, excitement, disappointment. It's part of being human. The difference is that while most people are slaves to their emotions, billionaires become masters of them. Think about the stock market. When a stock plummets, the average person panics. They see their money disappearing and their first instinct is to sell, to cut their losses and run. This is a fear-based emotional reaction. A seasoned investor with a billionaire mindset, however, sees the same situation differently. They've trained themselves to detach from the immediate panic. Instead of reacting, they respond. They ask questions. Why is the stock dropping? Is it a fundamental problem with the company? Or is it a market-wide panic? Is this an opportunity to buy a great asset at a discount? They don't let the red numbers on the screen dictate their actions. They let logic, data, and their strategy guide them. This emotional discipline isn't just for investing. It applies to every aspect of life and business. Imagine a crucial negotiation. If you let your ego or your anxiety take over, you're likely to make concessions you'll later regret. But if you can remain calm, centered, and objective, you maintain control. You can think clearly, listen actively, and steer the conversation toward a favorable outcome. This isn't about being a robot or suppressing your feelings. It's about acknowledging your emotions without letting them sit in the driver's seat. It's the practice of pausing, taking a breath, and choosing a response that aligns with your long-term goals, not your short-term feelings. This level of self-mastery is a superpower. It allows you to stay focused when others are distracted, to be bold when others are fearful, and to be patient when others are impulsive. It's the foundation upon which great fortunes are built. Now, let's move on to the second pillar, long-term thinking. In our world of instant gratification, this is a truly rare quality. We want overnight success, instant results, and immediate rewards. They are planting seeds for trees whose shade they may not sit in for a decade or more. Think about Jeff Bezos, and in the early days, Amazon was losing money hand over fist. Wall Street analysts were screaming, calling it a failure, and telling him to focus on short-term profits. If Bezos had been a short-term thinker, he would have caved. He would have cut back on investment, focused on making the next quarter's earnings report look good, and Amazon would have likely become a small online bookstore. But he had a vision that stretched far beyond the next financial quarter. He saw a future where Amazon was the everything store. He was willing to sacrifice immediate profits for long-term dominance. He reinvested every dollar back into the company, building warehouses, developing technology, and expanding into new markets. He was playing chess while everyone else was playing checkers. You stop chasing fleeting trends and start building durable assets. You focus on building genuine relationships instead of just transactional ones. You invest in learning and self-development, knowing that the compound interest on knowledge is the greatest return you'll ever get. A short-term thinker asks, "What can I get right now?" A long-term thinker asks, "What can I build that will last?" This mindset allows you to endure the inevitable setbacks and failures along the way, because you see them not as dead ends, but as data points on a much longer journey. You understand that true wealth isn't just about money. It's about building something of lasting value. This brings us to our third and final pillar, system building. This is where the magic really happens. You can have all the emotional control and long-term vision in the world, but if you're the one doing everything, you'll eventually hit a ceiling. Your time, your energy, they are finite resources. Billionaires understand this perfectly. That's why they don't just work hard. They build systems that work hard for them. What is a system? It can be anything from a well-documented business process to a piece of software, a carefully constructed team, or a portfolio of investments. The key is that a system operates independently of your direct moment-to-moment involvement. Michael Gerber, in his book, The E-Myth, talks about working on your business, not just in it. This is the essence of system building. An employee or a self-employed person trades their time for money. If they don't work, they don't get paid. A business owner with a systems mindset builds a machine. They create processes for marketing, sales, operations, and customer service. They hire the right people and empower them to run those processes. The owner's job is to design, refine, and oversee the machine, not to be a cog within it. This is what creates leverage. It allows one person's vision to be scaled to an enormous degree. Ray Dalio, founder of the massive hedge fund Bridgewater Associates, is obsessed with systems. He famously documented his principles for work and life in a detailed manual, creating a system for decision-making that allows his entire organization to operate with a shared logic. He didn't just want to be a great investor. He wanted to build a machine made of people and processes that could be great at investing, even without his constant input. This applies to personal finance as well. A system could be as simple as setting up automatic monthly investments into an index fund. You set it up once, and the system works for you, month after month, year after year, growing your wealth without you needing to think about it every day. You're building a money-making machine. So let's bring it all together. First, you master your emotions, allowing you to make rational, strategic decisions instead of impulsive, fear-driven ones. Second, you adopt a long-term vision, which gives you the patience and resilience to build something truly significant. And third, you focus on building systems, creating leverage that allows you to scale your efforts far beyond your personal limitations. These three pillars work together in a powerful feedback loop. Your long-term vision helps you stay emotionally calm during short-term volatility. And your systems free up your time and mental energy, allowing you to focus even more on your long-term vision. This isn't a secret formula reserved for a chosen few, and it's available to anyone willing to do the work. Start small. The next time you feel a strong emotion like anger or fear, practice pausing before you react. Ask yourself what a long-term thinker would do. Look at a repetitive task in your life or work and ask, how can I build a system to automate this or delegate it? The journey to building wealth and success is a marathon, not a sprint. It's about the daily practice of thinking differently. It's about cultivating discipline, vision, and ingenuity. By embracing these core tenets of the billionaire mindset, you're not just chasing money. You're building a life of purpose, impact, and freedom. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this valuable, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing for more content on mindset and success. I'd love